Hello, family members. I am happy to talk to you today about something I've been wanting to discuss for a minute, but that I was reluctant to kind of get into, and I'll kind of explain why in a moment. But I want to talk about Stormy Daniels. Now, there's a lot of very unkind things, unkind takes about her out there, uh, in the media atmosphere, online. You know, they love to talk about her and just call her a porn star, like, which is a choice, definitely, because her profession, you know, doesn't define her any more than anyone else is defined solely by a job they used to have when they were younger, Because that's what we're talking about here. We're not talking about someone who's like, you know, actively still working. She's a mom, she's a horse girl, like she's a lady, And the reason I didn't want to talk about her before, or that I hesitated to talk about her before, was because I honestly wasn't certain how to refer to her. Because Stormy Daniels obviously is a stage name, and I didn't know whether or not she wanted to still be associated with that name, or if she wanted to be referred some other way. And we got that when she finally did testify in the election subversion trial in New York, right? She was point blank asked, "What name do you want the court to call you?" And she said Stormy Daniels. So there we go. Now I know how to refer to her in a way that doesn't make me question myself and what she would want, because, she should have some, say in how she is discussed. One thing that she says in her testimony, and has said in other times, is that she wanted her story to be told. And, now that we've heard it, it's not surprising so much as just mundane, honestly. We have a guy who goes to a golf tournament, that a celebrity golf tournament, that has a hole that's sponsored by an adult film studio. I don't know who's sponsored the other holes, right? He meets a adult film star, and who, oh my gosh, she was 27, he was 60. And yeah, his wife was at home with their newborn son, and he invites her to dinner, but instead of dinner, he's just hanging out waiting for her in pajamas in a hotel room. And the only reason that she says the only reason she went was because she thought that, his fame, if she got to know him, that he might be able to help her career. She didn't have any intentions of having any sort of romantic or sexual interlude, I guess I should say, with him. And, you know, it's very uncomfortable to think about her being in that position. A 27-year-old woman who is, at that point, trying to build her career. She's both acting in and directing adult films, and probably thinking about her longevity in the industry and her life in a long-term sense. And here's someone who, held out a carrot to her, and then even after the encounter, he kept, like saying, "Oh yeah, well, I can get you on The Apprentice," and she was used, and And she's still being used, like this whole thing. The media wants to call it the Stormy Daniels case, and that's not it. Nobody's accusing Stormy Daniels of doing anything criminal, you know? Like, they're saying that she wanted to sell her story. Well, so what? A lot of people sell their story, like, yeah, if that's the worst thing that you can accuse someone of, rather, then that's not a whole lot. And I've seen some really disgusting takes on social media, things talking about, yeah, she was the only one that got paid for her work, and it's like, no, that's not why she got paid. She got paid to keep quiet in order to, interfere with the election results. She didn't sleep with him thinking she was ever going to get paid. She maybe thought it was going to benefit her career, but she also indicated that that wasn't her intention, not what she wanted to do, and not what she expected to do. And, not that she was, assaulted or anything like that, but that she felt like she was in an uncomfortable position that she didn't particularly want to be in. And, just, I guess, made the best of it as much as she could. And that's a relatable thing. I know that as a woman, I know that there are women that do things with men, sexual things with men that they don't want to do because they don't know what's going to happen if they say no, or they just don't want to have to deal with what could happen. They may just decide to grin and bear it, and that's, I think, something that has its roots in the way that people talk about sexuality in women. They don't necessarily want to acknowledge that women have a sexuality, and so the ideal, if you ask certain people, is that a lady is essentially asexual, that has no interest in sex and only ever has anything to do with sex because she wants to make her husband happy, and that's not true. Like, it's just, but that's the thing, like, women are programmed from the time that we're little that there might be times that the right thing for us to do is to have sex when we don't want to. It's true. We are. Dennis Prager has very famously said and doubled down that a woman shouldn't let her mood determine if she and her husband have sex. We are told to be subservient to men and to suppress our own desires and to, sometimes do things we don't want to do in the bedroom. And that's part of this story, I think, and so I feel for her, like, obviously I feel for her. And she doesn't have to be the kind of person that I can relate to much on any level, but she's a human being, and she's been pulled into this circus, not necessarily because of anything she wanted to do. I mean, as far as I can tell, she signed an NDA and thought she was never going to talk about this ever again, that it was going to go away and that was going to be that. And yet it will always be associated with her. The shorthand is either hush money, which she's the one who got paid, so that is about her, or the Stormy Daniels case. This case, instead of being defined by what it is, which was business fraud in order to conceal campaign finance and election subversion crimes, instead of it being couched in those terms, instead of it being about the election, or about cover up, the Trump cover up trial. Why couldn't it be that, But no, it's the Stormy Daniels or the hush money trial. And that's not, the money is not the crime, The encounter isn't the crime. The crime is the cover up, The cover up is what we're here to talk about. And yet, for whatever reason, well, no, I know what the reason is. People love talking about salacious stuff, and sex work is a salacious thing, right? And they love to immediately conflate a adult film actress with a prostitute, and you know what? That's pretty gross and insulting to both prostitutes and adult film actresses in a way. Like those are two pretty different professions, and I don't think that there would be there. I think there are probably sex workers who would not appreciate being filmed and being part of the porno sphere for the rest of their lives, and there are probably quite a few adult film actors that wouldn't ever really directly engage in other types of sex work. And so, oh gosh, Kimmy, she has been just wild since I started talking. I don't know if you could hear her, but she was like licking my leg, and now she's rolling around. She didn't like it. She didn't like it. Do you, Kim? You don't like how they're treating... You don't like how they're treating her. You weirdo. Anyway. Yeah, so... I don't know why we can't be better about this. I hope at some point we can start talking about things. Talk about Bill Clinton's impeachment not as being the Lewinsky scandal. Like Monica Lewinsky is not the person who did something wrong. Like she wasn't the one who was in a committed relationship and then had sexual contact with someone else. She wasn't the one who was somebody's boss and she was an intern, and they were an intern and she took advantage of them. That was Bill Clinton. Like Bill Clinton was the one that did what he did and lied to cover it up and got impeached for it. Why do we want to make it to be her scandal? It's his scandal. Why do we want to make this be about Stormy Daniels or Karen McDougal or, even like E. Jean Carroll and people like that? Like, it's ridiculous how when these scandals happen, instead of holding the men who do the thing, or sometimes not men, but mostly men who do the thing, accountable, we hold the bystanders of history accountable. The people who don't have the platform or the respectability or the money or the position of power. We make them the face of a scandal that isn't really their scandal. So I hope that maybe we can stop talking about her like that, but it's probably not going to happen. It's just, I'm probably going to be very disappointed anytime that I go on social media during this whole trial, because people want to talk badly about Donald Trump, which I understand, and then anyone who is in his orbit ends up being collateral damage. And I don't like that. So, All right, Kimmy, fine. I'm done. I better pet this dog. She's losing her mind. Take care of yourself, family members. I love ya. Bye.